Hey everybody, welcome to The Well. This is a show where we do what you do, and we're going to take you on that journey to see how we've developed our financial advisory practice as digital marketers turned financial advisors.
All right, welcome back. Episode 6, Season 2 of The Well.
Yeah, welcome back. This is it's actually been a little while since we've recorded. So we did a bunch of recording earlier in the year.
Yep.
But now we're...
When's the last time we were in these seats?
I don't know, January?
Yeah.
Early January, probably.
I think I was sick, and it was like 6 in the morning or something like that.
It was early that day. It was a Wednesday. It was the day after a seminar, so we were like both a little bit tired.
That's right. We were sore.
Yeah. That was a tough one. That was after the first Noblesville event of the year, which was a busy event.
It was busy. And that night was so different. Anyways, go back and listen to, it was probably episode 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that.
No, it's the one that just dropped.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, because we kind of...
That's right.
We bounced around a little bit. Yep.
Yep. So episode 5, we talked about that.
Yep. Or it's dropping next. I don't know.
So as you can see, though, now we're in March Madness.
I didn't realize that the tournament started yesterday.
Yep.
I went to lunch with my worship pastor just to hang out, and we're chatting, and we're gonna go to Ale Emporium. And that's where I'd picked, I don't know, like a month ago.
Yep.
And he got there before me. He's like, "Hey, it's the first day of the tournament, and it's tough to find a seat." And I was like, "What tournament?
What tournament?
What tournament?" Oh, and parking was at a premium. I had to park like, I don't know, 150 yards away from the restaurant. He parked even further away, but we did get a table, and we had some wings. And
we got to get you a team that you can follow. There's nothing better than March Madness.
There's
just nothing better.
Just don't care.
I was nervous, and of course, being on the East Coast is so stupid to watch sports.
Yeah.
Like, I'm used to being Mountain Time, and sporting events happen at a decent hour. But here, Jayhawks didn't play till like 10 last night.
Oof.
So I didn't watch it. I fell asleep. I had to.
No.
But did
they win?
They won, and I honestly didn't expect them to. We're short like our star player. So, anyways, it's March Madness, baby.
All right.
Rock chalk.
Rock chalk. Jayhawk.
Jayhawk. There you go.
There you go. I'll root for him, I guess. Go Jayhawks.
Okay. Good deal.
Cornhuskers.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
Isn't that a team?
I think it is Nebraska.
Right. Okay.
But I don't think they do
Go
anything
Cardinals
for basketball.
Go Cardinals. Is that a team?
I don't know.
That's Ball State.
Ball State. A little throw. Okay. I see you. A little Ball State.
All right.
So what are we doing today?
We're actually going to change up a little bit. Normally we talk about our a little hair on there. Normally we talk about our seminars, but we've actually had some pretty amazing results from webinars this year. And so we're breaking from the tradition of talking about seminars, and we're going to talk a little bit about a few webinars that we've done in 2024. We actually did do one in 2023. I don't know if we talked about that on the podcast or not, but saw good results with that one. So we said, hey, we're gonna make a more consistent push with the virtual the webinar space in 2024, just as an extra way to market. And man, it's really blossomed into quite a thing, and it's turning out nice.
We are committed to trying stuff just for ourselves, for our own business, like, never being okay with what's working, just keep trying stuff. And then for RA and for this podcast and like just in general.
Yep.
And webinars was one of those things. I think we both know that it has merit, but it's like, can we make it work?
Right. And I think the biggest concern isn't whether or not you can get registrations, because clearly we can do that. We've done that for years. Not even can you get people to attend. Again, clearly we can do that. We've done that for years. But can we get people to convert? And that's something that we demonstrated right away in the very first webinar we did in December.
Like within 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, that was actually the fastest paid app we had all of last year.
Yep.
Because it was cash with app, and it was very quick, and it wasn't huge, but it covered the cost of the webinar.
Yeah, it was enough for us to go, okay.
Yeah, there's merit here.
Yeah.
And I think the number one thing that I've learned, and I think Richy's, we were talking about this the other day, the objection of like, well, I don't really know these people, it's virtual, it's difficult, whatever. That's all in our heads. It's not necessarily something that is in the consumer's heads, because they've only this process for them has been all virtual. For us, we're so used to being face to face with people at a seminar, eating a meal with them, and then meeting with them afterwards in our office or whatever. So it's kind of a head game you have to play to say it doesn't matter that it's a little different. This is their experience is virtual, and that's okay. And not being worried about the fact that it's all virtual. There's some challenges with it. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's not as bad as we were led to believe, or we thought ourselves, dealing with virtual appointments.
I mean, we're a couple of young bucks. So for us, get me on the internet, I feel pretty comfortable there. Get me, on a video call, I feel comfortable there. We're in front of cameras, I feel comfortable there. So I think both of us were thinking we should be able to make this thing work. But for sure, as I've hosted these appointments, it is a different dynamic, because even on the webinar night, it's not, there's no
pressure.
Yeah, there's no pressure. And it's also like, I'm not performing. I'm not like in front of anybody, I'm just half the time, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so that's been a little bit weird. And then the other thing is, when I do meet with them for the first time, it's not their first time.
Right.
They've seen me already, but I haven't seen them at all. I don't know them at all. So I am the cold prospect. Mm-hmm. We're opposed to them usually being cold. So for sure, you kind of have to train your mind to just be like, no, they know me already. So just act like I know them. Yeah. Like, it's the same thing. And we're doing the same 3-part process. If you don't know what that is, go back and watch it. But we're doing the same. Part 1 is the webinar. Part 2, get to know them. Part 3, doing a recommendation appointment. So, and you can feel it too. I feel like I can feel it. You get into the webinar appointment, and it's, they can tell that I can tell that they know me and they're familiar and they're fairly comfortable. But it feels a little weird in that same appointment then to ask for their financials on our side, not their side necessarily.
Yeah, definitely not as familiar for us. And like I said, just the head game thing. You got to just tell yourself, no, they do know us.
Yep.
And the reason they set this appointment is because they were interested in what we were talking about. So,
exactly. They need help.
Right. Yeah. So we've done actually 2 styles of webinars. The first one we did in December, and then the second one we did in, I think it was early January.
Yeah, I think we did. I want to say we did one of ours early this year as well.
Yeah.
Let me check. You can keep going.
Yeah,
I'll check.
I believe we've done 2 of ours. And so the very first one we did, it was kind of a last minute thing. I think we've talked about it on the podcast before, but it was a last minute thing. We had to cancel a seminar event. It was, there was issues with getting registrations because it was December. And so we kind of threw a Hail Mary and did a webinar. And if you know anything about Richy and I, we're just like, if we decide to do something, we just do it. And we put it together and we go. And that's exactly what we did for that one. And I think that the webinar itself could have been better. Maybe it wasn't quite as punchy. It was a little bit rough around the edges, but we did get quite a few good appointments out of it. And we did write some business out of it right away. And actually got a couple people still on the hook that may turn into clients at some point. They're just taking a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. One that I'm in pretty consistent communication with, and she's just, it's a longer sales cycle in some cases than the in-person ones are, but, there's some opportunity still out of that very first webinar back in December. The second one that we did, we re-recorded because it was a new year and we had to have new Social Security numbers and different stuff that we needed to update in the presentation. And our intention was to go shorter than our seminar. We cut out quite a bit of stuff and we tried to make it much more punchy. And unfortunately, it wasn't. It was significantly longer.
It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was long. And in that webinar, we got several kind of complaining Charlies, if you will, saying, when are you going to get to the material? Yeah. So far I've heard about chickens and eggs and your backstories. And
leave my chickens out of this right. guy.
And we still got some good appointments out of it.
Yeah.
The people that stuck through that whole presentation, obviously knew us really, really well at that point because we had gone into probably twice as much backstory as we maybe needed to. But, we're committed. When we record another one like that, we're going to shorten it. We have to because it was just too long.
It was our same exact seminar presentation, just in a webinar. So to confirm, I was just looking up the numbers. We did one in November last year.
Okay,
that's the one that we wrote the quick business off of, and it was like, we can do this and let's make it a part of our 2024 plan. Mm-hmm. So we ran one of ours on February 6th. That's the one we're talking about right now. That we went way too long with. And then we ran 2 more, one on February 28th, and then we just ran another one on the 19th, but those 2 were a little different.
Yep. Yeah. So our process, like Richy said, basically took our seminar presentation and made it into a webinar, and it worked reasonably well. Like we've said, the people knew us. They understood the process. They understood our philosophy on things, and that's really all we're trying to accomplish with the seminar presentation anyways. Get to know us, get to know our philosophy, and if all that kind of connects with you, then you'll want to meet with us. And it has held true on the webinars as well. But then late last year, we formed a partnership with a company called Stonewood Financial. They're not an FMO. They're just like a resource for financial advisors that are trying to make tax planning a bigger emphasis in their practice. And they got some great tools, great calculators, great handouts, great resources. And one of those resources is where they formed a partnership with us on, and it's an automated webinar. Effectively, we manage all the webinar stuff at RA, but Becky and Neil, who are 2 of the owners there, recorded a really good, about 25 or 30-minute presentation.
Yeah, about 30, I think. Right.
And they're incredibly skilled at taking a complex topic like taxes and Roth IRAs and all legislative risk and all that stuff, and boiling it down into easy to digest, punchy material that is super, super compelling. And we've actually done this style of webinar marketing before. We had like what we called syndicated programs. And it was marginally effective. I would say it was easy for the advisor, but didn't produce a lot of results. And I think that had more to do with the actual content of the presentation and, just kind of the time of life that we were all going through, because that was during COVID. But this presentation is lights out. I mean, it's great. And it's really, really good. And for the advisor, all we had to do was record an intro and an outro. And it took us 20 minutes.
I was going to say, talk about a quick decision again, a quick turnover. I think, well, I won't explain why we ended up doing it, but it was a crunch time. We needed to do this. We need to launch it tomorrow decision again between us. So we said, team, we're going to run this thing. Let's go. We shot our intro. We shot our outro. We got it in there. And, man, I remember if you've run a webinar, again, like the night of the webinar, you should have a system in place where you're going to see appointments coming in on your calendar. So it's kind of a unique feeling. It's kind of cool feeling because in this situation, you and I were at dinner with Keith, one of our RA guys, and appointments are just rolling in.
Yeah, we're literally sitting in a restaurant.
Yep.
Looking at our phones, like I was playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's right. And couldn't get Andrew out of his Pokemon.
I'm sitting there catching them all, and appointments are coming in. So we're catching appointments.
You were sweating over
there. Right. And it was incredible. I mean, the first one we ran like that, and we had, I think, 7 or 8. I can't remember. 8, I think.
I'll tell you.
8 appointments rolled in. I think it was 7 came in right away, and then with the next day calls, we picked up 1 more. Which if you're doing webinars, there's a little tip for you. Make sure you call every single person that attends live the next day, even if they don't set an appointment. Because some of those people, and probably should call everybody, but at least those ones, some of those people couldn't figure out Calendly, or they couldn't figure out Acuity, or whatever scheduling service you're using, or there wasn't a time that fit for their, but they were interested. They clicked to it, they just couldn't get something. And every single webinar we've done, because we've done now 4 of them, we've gotten at least 1 appointment from those post calls.
Yeah, we got 9 appointments from that campaign. But that's exactly right. That goes back to our days as recruiters when we were working at an FMO. And we would the number one way we would get agents to actually contract with our FMO was run a webinar, and then anybody who was on the webinar immediately after, it was like a shark like feeding frenzy. Like we're splitting them up, and you're getting these, I'm getting these, and boom, 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 boom. We're calling them. And then that's how we would recruit them. Yep. So we said, let's treat this the same exact way. Let's be just as aggressive. In this case, because we run the webinar at night, usually I think we did, was it 6:30?
6:30, yeah.
6:30, yeah. So we don't call them that night. We let it kind of do their thing, and then the next day call through. And we've got, like you said, 1 or 2, I would say, every time.
Every single time?
Yeah, every single time.
There's at least 1. And I think on the very first one, we got 2 or 3 maybe. But yeah, that is, if you don't do that, you're missing appointments for sure.
Missing appointments.
Yeah.
Our cost per appointment there was like dramatically lower than what we've been paying for seminars.
Yeah.
So then, of course, we're like, okay, like let's run another one then. Let's get this into the pipeline. So put another one together, and it just finished. What was that date?
Tuesday this week.
Yeah, Tuesday.
3 days ago.
The 19th. Yeah, Tuesday, March 19th. It ended, and that one even crazier. We got 13 appointments out of that thing.
Yeah. Well, we ran a full campaign that time. We didn't run a short one. We ran a full campaign. We got traditional results, I would say, from the marketing instead of kind of a truncated campaign that we ran the first time. But yeah, 13 appointments. And what is most impressive to me about that particular webinar at this point is the quality that we're seeing coming out of that. The appointment quality is just lights out. It's crazy.
If we can put this on the webinar, we'll do it. We'll make sure we don't have any personal data on there, but we have them if they choose to, right? It's they can decide to do it or not. They fill out this form, and it has to do with their qualified accounts and what they can expect from taxes. And so they can choose to do it or not do it, but good night, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, okay. It's called the retirement tax bill, and it's a tool that Stonewood has. And it's very easy. It takes like 30 seconds to do it.
Right.
And essentially just ask them, hey, how much qualified money do you have? What's your expected tax rate? How old are you?
Yep.
And I think that's really it. Name and email, maybe. Yeah, exactly, something like that.
Personal.
But it's really, really quick. And out of those first 2 webinars, we've had, I think, Well, we can count them. One,
well,
two,
this isn't
three,
even a
four,
full
five,
list.
6,
This is not full. I just took a clip of the front page.
Okay, so but on this page there's 10.
And I didn't like when you'll see it when it pops up on there. This is not edited at all. It's literally just you can go into the dashboard and click leads and it just shows them.
Yeah.
So this is just page 1 as it came through.
Yep. So 2.2 million, 500,000, 257,000, 2.8 million, 950,000, 335,000, 1.06 million, 950,000, 285,000, 1 million. And that's just their qualified accounts. And we've met with most of these people, if not all these people.
Yep.
And every single person has had this plus their
for
non-qualified assets, their cash, other investments that they've got that are not in qualified accounts. Yeah. So it's like that 2.8 one in particular, I remember that because that was one of the first ones that we saw come through that.
We were like, my gosh.
Like, what?
Nice.
And when I met with him, super nice guy, he has close to 5 total.
Yep.
I mean, tell me there's not some opportunity there for financial advisors that are also selling insurance products. That's an ideal prospect.
Ideal. I feel like, and I know I would guess you're going to say the same thing. Tell me not, but it's kind of a lot of these appointments are ours to lose.
Yeah. That one in particular is for sure.
Yep. I have felt like because one of the questions again we ask is, are you curious?
There have been a handful of wackadoos.
We'll come back to that. We'll circle back to that. But one of the questions again that we ask is a curious, serious thing. Are you serious about this? Are you curious about this? Why? What would you rate yourself? And every single time, I mean, they're pretty serious about it. And I say, well, why are you serious? And then they just start like all their stuff. And it's like, okay, we can align and work well with that. But I have left a lot of those appointments thinking to myself, like, okay, like it's up to me what plan I deliver, how I deliver it. It's going to be up to me if I get the sale or not, which is a great problem to have because it's the business that we're in.
That's the job we have, right?
That's it, right? We're helping people, but you gotta have some salesmanship. You gotta have some personality. You gotta have an experience for them. And when that pressure is just me, when it's up to me, I'll bet on myself every single time. Like I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
So it's been fun.
It's been really good, and it's going to be a part of a regular rotation at this point because honestly, we don't have to do anything. Like we've already recorded our intro and outro. Until Neil and Becky record a new, meat of the presentation, we don't have to re-record anything. We can just set it and forget it basically on a regular rotation, and get much lower cost per appointment. And, maybe we don't close as fast or as many as we would out of a seminar, but it's a numbers game, really.
Right.
So we get 10 or 15 appointments a month out of something like this, and maybe we only close one person. But the cost to close that one person was dramatically lower than, if we only close one out of a seminar.
That's right. I'm getting ahead of it, I think, because this is probably a bullet point at the end. But we've been around long enough now, if you followed our journey, like our business has been around long enough now that we're not so... Obviously, we want every campaign, every marketing dollar to to work out and to get a return on it for sure. But it's like, okay, if I don't get a new client within 2 weeks of this thing, that I'm okay with that. But what's happening now is we've seen appointments that we met with a year ago now are trickling back. Mm-hmm. Or we've seen clients that we brought on 2 years ago now coming back with their brother or their kid or another account, or we're starting to get those kind of return business. Yeah. In this thing too, which I think is fun with webinars. And I'm saying that because I want you guys, if you're going to run a webinar, just understand it's definitely not as quick as a seminar sale, in my opinion. Usually. I think there is low hanging fruit and you will get those, but treat this as a mature business marketing. It's going to come back to you. Just be consistent, be patient, keep meeting with people, keep helping them, keep doing all your stuff. But we've been doing it long enough that we're starting to see that compound back. Mm-hmm. That's been solid.
Yeah, and the thing that we haven't started doing well yet, but it's in the plans for really honestly the next couple of weeks. Yeah, is remarketing to our existing database because we've built a pretty big database of people that have registered and attended seminars or not attended here in the local Indianapolis market, and now we've got a pretty substantial database of webinar prospects as well, and We've been cleaning that up, and once we get our new CRM up and going, that's the plan, is to basically start dripping on those people consistently and recycling those marketing dollars. So
yeah, we have to. Just from webinars this year, the 3 that we've done, 270 leads in our pipeline.
Yeah. And 90 of those did show up for the the actual webinar, and 27 very qualified appointments. I mean, it's been, like I said, a couple of wackadoos, right? I mean, we've had some doozies, but that's going to happen at seminars too. I mean, we've had some this week that were doozies. So
yeah, that's funny, because if you think about, like, you have, if you're on Facebook and you take a stance on something, somebody in the comments is going to say some crap, really brave stuff, really like stark, kind of like rude even comments or direct comments, where if you were face to face, they're not going to say it. Right. It's totally different when you're face to face and when you're not going to say that. So for sure, like, you get on these webinars, they haven't met us face to face at the seminar. So, there's a little bit more bravery, I feel like, sitting behind your computer, and they can kind of be a little bit more judgmental. And
some of those chat messages have been like, man, geez,
like,
calm down, dude.
It's just my hairline. Gosh. Yeah, I don't know. You could so be ready for that. That's where you say wackadoodles. Like, kind of, you're gonna get some personality, which and sometimes can be kind of nice, because I would rather sometimes just tell me what you're feeling. Right. So you don't tell me I don't know. And sometimes they can be a little bit more gentle in person, whereas on the webinar, I promise you, they're going to tell you what they think.
Yeah, they definitely let you have it. So we don't want to ignore the fact that we are also still doing seminars consistently this year. Yeah. So we'll just give you kind of a quick recap on there. I don't think we're going to go, shot for shot necessarily, but we did 2 in January, 2 in February, 2 sets.
2 sets, so 4 events.
4 events each one. And in March so far, we've done 2, and we have another one next week.
Another 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no,
it's 1 now. Yeah, we've had some. So we've done a lunch and a dinner on the same day. So when we talk about a seminar day, we're doing 2 seminars in the same day. What we've discovered really in the last 3 months probably is that the lunches are not pulling the way they used to, and the attendance at the lunches is not pulling the way it used to. Right. And that's probably just a saturation issue. We've done a lot of events at the same venues, so we're looking toward mixing that up a little bit with more event stuff or experience stuff, I should say. And then maybe testing out different days. We haven't really talked about that much, but like different days, or maybe just doing just dinners instead of dinners and lunches, just to try to be more efficient with our marketing dollars. Because we've had a couple of lunches that were pretty light.
Yeah, again, the benefit of being around as long as we have, we're getting the compounded returns from the past, but also a negative is they've seen us around a lot.
Right.
So like you're saying, in the same place, almost in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, they're going to go to the same restaurant. I'll do it next month, because they know they just know. So we are definitely getting diminishing returns on lunch. So actually next Tuesday we had a lunch dinner, already marketing for it. We only had like, I don't know, it was like 4 people projected to show for lunch, but like 20 for dinner.
Right.
Okay, so we canceled the lunch and let's just go to dinner. So, but that's okay too. It's okay. I do like lunches. I would prefer that they both work out great.
Right.
But in this scenario, like, just we'll ride the wave. If dinners are working right now, great. I mean, I also, like you said, the experiences. I really love the wine event we did. Mm-hmm. I really like the candle making thing, which we're gonna go back for like a Mother's Day thing. Which I don't know if I told you. Let's do candles.
Copy that.
We'll do we were thinking of doing this bracelet thing. Which is really cool. We'll do it. I mean, I think it's a great experience. So, yeah, just shaking it up a little bit, but lunch is not so much 2024 for us.
Yeah, not yet. And I think, to your point, like, we'll try lunches again. It's not like we're giving up on them. But maybe we just give them a breather for a little while and give the audience a little bit of a break and take it away from them. So maybe the next time they see one, they're, oh, shoot, they're doing one of those again. I'm going to go this time, because they don't always do it that way.
Are we talking about the one lunch and how it turned out in this, or are we going to wait? Is it going to be an episode?
I don't think it needs to be an episode.
Yeah, just do it.
Not much to say.
Yeah, just super briefly. We'll show. I mean, let the picture speak for itself. Just throw that picture up there, Ethan.
Yeah, that was.
Yep. So you can see what's going on.
That was interesting, because I think, so for that event, we were projected to have 7 or 8 at lunch.
Yeah,
which is light,
low.
But we've done that before, and 7 or 8 is a decent enough room. We typically would pick, a couple of appointments out of that.
You could perform to 7 or 8. Even as little as 5, you can still perform and get an appointment or 2.
Yeah. So lunches always start at noon, and so this gentleman showed up probably 10 till. Like he was a little bit early, which is normal. We usually have 1 or 2 show up early. We get closer and closer to noon. Nobody else is coming. Like, it's 12:05. He's still the only one there. It's like,
we're like, hey, okay, we'll get started soon. We're just waiting on
a... Yeah, a couple people probably still coming, and by I think 10 after 12, I was like,
They're not coming.
They're not coming. This is it. This is what we got. We got one person in the room. And so we sent, Paul and Hannah off and said, hey, we're going to call an audible. And we just went over to the guy and said, hey, we're going to be honest with you. We were expecting more people. We just have you. So we're going to call an audible. Here's the full menu. Order whatever you want because we're already on the hook for the minimum.
Yep. He got himself a nice ribeye.
He sure did.
So did I. I think you got a New York.
I got a New York strip with a crab cake on top and, the whole nine. And I was just like, we're just going to have lunch and we're going to, it was a good experience though.
Sure. I liked it.
I don't know if we're actually going to get to meet with him or not. Our lights just died, Rich.
Both of them at the same time?
Yeah, same time.
How's that even possible?
I don't know.
They're two individual lights.
They synced up, but I don't know if we're gonna get an appointment or not. He wants to maybe meet in April, so it's one of those. It's like down the road, so we'll see if it ever comes through. But nice guy.
Yep.
Great conversation, good questions, and we just made the best of it in that moment. And
I think he actually did. I think I got the notification just this morning of his appointment, so I think he did. He did.
Oh, did he?
So,
okay,
yeah.
Good. All right, good. So that's all you can ask for, really. And honestly, we've had other events where we've only gotten one appointment set out of an individual meal. So
1 for 1, we're 100%.
100% conversion ratio on that bad boy.
And then at dinner, we had like 20-something people.
Yeah, dinner was great.
So again, it's okay. You're going to be fine. Just sit with the one guy and enjoy it, have a working lunch, which we did. We kept, we just did the thing. It's fine.
Yeah, it was a good time. It wasn't, I wasn't happy about it, but.
No. You want the at-bats. You want the people clearly, but you can't do anything about it at that point.
Yeah, nothing can change then. So
hey, you get out, one person. We're not doing this today.
We're not doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little recap on 2024 so far.
2-minute recap here.
Yep, and then we'll wrap it. So we've had written and issued in 2024 so far just over 2 million in production. Mm-hmm. So really good start to the year. We're not even done with Q1 yet. So we're on pace to double what we did last year. At this point, and that's by design. We definitely have amped up our marketing efforts, and I think we've frankly gotten better at closing percentages have gone way up. If we get somebody into a part 3 at this point, I don't know the exact percentage, but it feels like it's probably like 60 to 70% close rate.
I think that's accurate. I think that's accurate.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
Just knowing how many I've done and how many I've closed versus how many you've done, how many you've closed. I feel like that's where
I feel very confident.
Yeah.
You get me in front of a part 3, I'm going to bring them on. I feel
right. Yeah,
confident.
we've adopted more tools and resources like the Sunwood stuff that is helping us have more confidence in the solutions that we're providing to people. The math doesn't lie. We talk about the magic on the retirement, and we actually don't even do our part 3s together anymore. We've been splitting it up to be able to scale. And so what I say in part 3 now, when I put the
magic guy,
what was his name? El Salt Bay. I put that up, and he always gets a chuckle, and I say, we call it magic, but really it's math, and that's what we're here to show you is the math. Some people think of it as magic, but really it's just numbers, and we're going to talk through all that. And it's been hitting, and I think that kind of message of look, we're kind of taking our emotions out of it and just talking about the math here, and we'll bring the emotions back when we need to make some of the decisions about when, but really this is the dollars and the cents, and we're going to show you how it all works. So it's been really cool. So little over 2 million written and issued, and then another 600 pending right now. And then there's, like Richy said, there's some that are ours to lose. And I think, I know one is 1.3 years, is a little over 7. So another couple million, and that's just the big ones. We've got several other that are, on the hook, so to speak.
And well, I don't want to get in the weeds too much, but also we're in the middle of kind of some changes in our business. Yeah. So because of that, we're stalled on a few.
Yeah. There's a couple that are we'll get this one done in a week or two.
Yeah.
We can say that. We signed up with an RIA.
Yep.
I've got. I'm going through all the background checks and fingerprints and all that stuff. With that, Richy's next week or 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, April 3rd, and I'm April 3rd. April 3rd test, and
he's
we'll do
the
the
thing. Test, and we're gonna be good to go. I'm confident.
I am in full swing right now. What is it? The 19th we said? No,
22nd today.
22nd. Yeah. I am waking up early, studying for a couple hours before the family's up. I'm listening to the 65 podcast stuff on the way to here this morning. I'm full and immersed into.
You're gonna be so glad when that's done, because you know what I listened to on my drive in this morning?
What'd you do?
As You Wish, which is a book about Princess Bride. So
Pokemon and Princess
that's
Bride.
Right. Hey
over
man,
here.
I'm no shame over here. I enjoy what I enjoy.
Too good.
But it's so some challenges with seminars so far this year, but definitely good opportunities still. We're seeing. Almost all the business that we've written. The business that we've written this year has come from seminars. We still have some opportunities on the webinar side, but great success with stuff. We're just, slowly plodding along, getting things done. And
slowly, healthily. Is that a word? Healthily?
Healthily is a word, I think.
Yeah. We're doing it all, though. I mean, really, by design and getting it done. It's been fun. I really do enjoy this job. I've enjoyed the other jobs that I do, but I enjoy this. There's just something different, something special about meeting with people and doing the thing.
Yeah.
So this has been good.
I found myself getting, even just in a couple of recent appointments with some family and friends, we're starting to see more referrals and things like that coming in. Getting a lot more emotional even in in the appointment, like understanding like, hey, this is hopefully something that can help this truly help this person. Because some of these people we meet and there's some emotion attached to it, but they're not our family, they're not our friends.
Yeah.
We hope to make them feel like that.
Right. We treat them that way.
But we treat them like that way for sure. But when it's actually your family and friends, there's a little bit more gravity to it, and it's been really rewarding and fun. So
and we're doing lunches with clients and different things now. It's just is a fun business. It really is. Like if you're doing it for the right reasons, it's such a fun business.
Yeah, I can't remember who said it, but we were at one of the FMOs this year, and the president got up and said something to the effect of like, there's no better business in the world because it's so much fun and you can make a good living. Like you can make a really great living doing this. And we've definitely experienced that and are looking forward to the future with it. But
we got on.
These are I think they call them the red pandas. They're dunks. And I think I've worn them on the podcast before. I can't remember. But
I can't remember either because they almost look like those. I call them the fish.
They kind of do
the
look
trout
like,
ones. Or whatever.
They do look like the gone fishins. But the reason I wore these today is because they coordinate really nicely with this shirt. And I don't. They're not my favorite colorway necessarily. I specifically don't love the toe cap, but they're my sweater shoes. They look like a sweater.
Yeah, they look good. Yeah. Great, like winter shoe type thing too. Although I think we're in spring now, but
technically spring.
It's cold. It's cold out there.
It's still cold, but what do you got?
I got these ones on. I actually don't remember what these are called.
Newspapers. There
you go. Yep. And I like them. To me, they're not like a trophy shoe.
No,
I'm not gonna like put them on there, but I think they look nice, and I do wear them pretty often, just because again, I'm not like super worried
they're clean
if they get used, but
are they still sitting?
I think so. Probably.
Yeah, they weren't a super popular drop, but nope. I almost went for them, but then I don't know why I didn't, and then I like them better in person than I did online.
I almost always feel that way.
Yeah.
I see them online, like, I like those. I could get those. And then I can see them in person, like, oh, man, I like those. The only thing, I'll take my shoe off because the backside of this is very white.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to get dirty easy.
Yeah. It's very white. It's almost like a different shoe here than it is here.
Yeah.
But it's easy to wear. You wear it with anything, and I don't care if they get super.
My best drop of the year that I've gotten.
Yeah.
That I'm never going to get to show on the podcast.
What?
Those fours. I got the...
Still hurts. Still hurts.
So the bread fours, which are probably the shoe of the year already, dropped, a month ago?
Yeah, a month ago. And I followed these shoes for months. Like, I was in the news, like, because fours are my jam. I love the fours. It's my thing. And I followed them forever. And they are, like, I had these early release, these sneakerheads had, and they're showing these videos. And they're I watched an embarrassingly amount, like 30 videos on this stupid shoe. And then I didn't get the drop.
I got the drop.
Yep.
And I like the way fours look. I hate the way they feel on my feet.
Yep.
I won't wear them. I have one other pair, and I'll wear them if I have to, kind of thing. But Keith, who works with us at RA, he remembers. He's old enough to remember that was his the first time he remembers Jordans. That's the shoe that he remembered, and I knew that. And he and I wear the same size, so I said, you know what? I'm not going to wear these. Keith, you can have them. So he was pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, it was a nice gesture, and he's rocking them too.
Yeah,
he wore them up on stage, and let me tell you, this dude,
man,
blew it away.
If you guys ever have the opportunity to hear Keith speak on a stage, do it. I said to him right after he got off on that stage, I don't know that RA's ever been better represented on stage than it was in that moment. Like, you did a great job.
We'll bring him on to this one time too, because he's got that radio voice.
Oh yeah. He sounds way better on mic than either of us do. But anyway,
all right. Well, thank you guys. That's a wrap. Episode 6. We're going to be back with 7, and I don't remember what we're doing.
Ask questions, basically, or no, ask things of people.
Ask the prospects.
Yeah,
we'll go over a bunch of things that we ask prospects during our process.
Yep,
that has moved the needle for us. So we'll go over that in the next episode.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.